You finally get that promotion. You are making more money than you ever have in your entire life. You feel like you have finally made it. But somehow, at the end of the month, your bank account is completely empty. You are working harder, earning more, and yet you actually feel more broke than when you were making less. You are not bad at math. You are simply trapped in a psychological glitch. Today, we are exposing the terrifying trap of the Diderot Effect. In the 18th century, a brilliant philosopher named Denis Diderot lived in absolute poverty. For nearly his entire life, he struggled to survive. But one day, the Empress of Russia heard of his financial struggles. She took pity on him and paid him a massive fortune for his personal library. Suddenly, Diderot was rich. With his new wealth, he bought himself a magnificent, luxurious scarlet robe. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever owned. But that single piece of clothing completely destroyed his life. When Diderot put on the beautiful robe and looked around his small, dusty apartment, everything else suddenly looked incredibly ugly. His old wooden desk did not match the elegance of his new robe, so he bought a new, expensive desk. But then his chairs looked cheap sitting next to the new desk. He replaced the chairs, then he replaced the rug, then the paintings on the wall. Within a few short months, Diderot had spent his entire fortune upgrading his life to match his one new robe. He was broke again. Psychologists named this specific glitch the Diderot Effect, and it is the exact reason why your rising income is secretly keeping you in the middle class. In his brilliant book, The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel reveals that the hardest financial skill in the modern world is getting the goalpost to stop moving. Modern society is perfectly engineered to trigger your Diderot effect every single day. You buy a new $1,000 smartphone, instantly your brain registers a massive contrast. Your 2-year-old laptop now feels unbearably slow and outdated. You get a raise and buy a luxury car, but when you park it in your driveway, your apartment suddenly feels too cheap for the person who drives that car. Every single purchase creates a new, elevated baseline of what you consider to be normal. You stop buying things to solve actual problems. You start buying things to maintain a psychological aesthetic. This creates a terrifying financial loop called lifestyle creep. As your income goes up, your desires instantly expand to absorb every single extra dollar. You convince yourself you are leveling up your life, but mathematically, you are just running faster on a treadmill that never actually moves forward. So how do you defeat the glitch hardwired into your own brain? You must establish a ruthless psychological baseline. The top 1% of wealth builders practice active, calculated deprivation. When their income doubles, they completely freeze their standard of living. They refuse to upgrade their car. They refuse to move to a bigger house. They force their environment to remain exactly the same, funneling 100% of that new income into invisible assets that actually buy them freedom. Defeating the Diderot effect allows you to build a massive financial fortress in complete silence. But once you acquire that wealth and power, you will face an entirely different psychological war. Because the moment you become successful, a deeply ingrained habit will try to make you give your power away to other people. It is a toxic behavior disguised as a virtue. We will expose the dangerous psychology of the nice guy in the next video.